Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the birth chart for Serena Williams, professional tennis champion. And we see the rising there is Taurus, the sun is in Libra, and the moon is in Virgo. The ruler of the chart, the ruler of the rising there is Venus. It's in the seventh in Scorpio, and we have Uranus there and Mercury there, close to the seventh house cusp there, and Mercury's in Libra. So Venus in Scorpio, the ruler, Scorpio could be considered a sign that is has in, that's competition, sports, and it's in the seventh. And she did have very good fortune in relationships, in networking, with the meeting of Rick Macy, the tennis coach. That if you saw the movie King Richard, which I thought they did a really good job for a tennis movie. Usually tennis movies, I don't think they do a very good job with the tennis. In this movie, I thought they did a great job with the tennis. And if you watch that movie, you see that the father connects with Rick Macy, and that's really what gives them her and Venus the great opportunity to make it into professional tennis. So we see there that Venus and Scorpio in the seventh. Also, the deal, the transaction between them two was very much a Scorpio transaction with the contract issues. She's had very good luck with contracts. You see in the movie they talk about the Nike contract and the deal with Puma, like just kind of the whole that whole interaction around contracts. So we see that, not having much experience, she's still able to navigate those contracts to favor her. And we see it's conjunct Uranus. Uranus is the genius planet, and she's definitely a genius when it comes to tennis, being so talented at a young age. We see Mercury there at 29 degrees. Mercury, again, when we look at tennis players, is almost always favored in some way. She's got the moon in Virgo. She's got that Mercury in the Gemini decan, where it likes to be, at the critical degree of 29 degrees. The moon being ruled by Virgo, and the sun, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Mercury all in the sixth house, the house of Virgo, the house of service, the house of routines, the house of health or no health. And you can see that with tennis, she's a player who can go through the day-to-day routines to get better. If you ever saw her practicing her serve, she can go out there and just really do practice one after the other. We have the sun, Saturn in Libra, where Saturn is exalted, and there being with the sun, she's not she doesn't shy away from the hard work. You can see there with it being Libra, there might be some testing when it comes to relationships, and she has had her moments over the years on the tennis court. We see the south node is in Cancer, and the south node's in Capricorn in the 10th, and the north node is in Cancer in the 4th. Being at 29 degrees, that's for the node, that's more of a new degree. So I saw this with Nadal as well. Even though these players are at the top of the game, you could also say there's some aspect of them that this is it could be that idea of it being new, kind of like an Aries node almost. That's where she's coming from with the south node. Aries node being like a new moon as well. Even though you can see here she does have a balsamic moon, the last phase of the moon, when in conjunction with her sun there. But that 29 degrees, it's interesting to see that it could be kind of like an Aries, which would be good for a sport like tennis where you're just always getting started. And with the South Node in Capricorn, that would also apply because Capricorn is a cardinal sign, and it is ruled by Saturn, and Mars would be exalted there. So having that in the 10th house, and the South Node is also associated with athletics and sports and competition. And you see it, she has it there near the midheaven in the 10th, so that's what she's known for. The ruler is conjunct her sun. Also, that 6th house and that Virgo is really good for tennis as well. Speaking of that Mercury, because she's very accurate and she has the ability to um, analyze analyze the game of tennis very well. And we see this as well with a lot of good tennis players, that it really isn't mentioned enough how accurate they are. Like Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, these guys are, my opinion, are at the top of the game because they are so accurate, and they have an extreme attention to detail in where to hit the ball. Not so much on how to hit the ball, but where they're hitting the ball. And she has Mars here in Leo, so she's energized by being center stage. Again, you could see her moments on stage when she would. There's a couple moments when she got into it with a lines person, uh, things of that nature. The North Node here, moving away from that Mars, but it's close. It's in a close enough conjunction that I could say with that, North Node. I leave down in the description. I just did a video on the North Node where she's coming to a fruition here in her life with the competition and all the Mars stuff, being the tennis player. But I would say that this North Node connection isn't the most favorable. Like, she hasn't been without her challenges. See here, this Mars is also making a sextile to Jupiter. See that a lot with successful people. She's able to accomplish her goals and objectives. There's opportunities there to accomplish her goals and objectives. She has a Mars-Venus square, which again, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in Mars-Venus. I'm gonna do some videos on the phases of Mars-Venus soon. But with that Mars-Venus, there could be some issues in relationship when it comes to her individuality. She's definitely going to be a person, and you could see, especially with that Venus-Uranus conjunction, she's not going to want to give up her individuality. Someone who's with her is going to have to respect that she is her own person, she has her own ideas about things, and she's going to do what she wants to do. The Uranus there is making a trine to the North Node and a sextile to the South Node. So very much, as I said, an individualist, someone who could be a genius. All the other keywords that go with Uranus would definitely apply to her, I'm sure. She has Pluto squaring the nodes. So in this life, a lot of need to resolve those emotions, resolve that Cancer sign that in the Cancer house, the 4th house. And with that, the ruler, the moon in Virgo, that could be an indication that she's embracing that work on herself, self-improvement. There's much more that can be said about this chart as usual. Just want to leave you with one cool little thing about astrology. Look there at her 3rd house, the house of siblings. It's ruled by Gemini, and her sister Venus is also a Gemini Sun, Gemini Venus. Stay tuned for that video. I'm going to probably do that video here in the next week, and hope you have a great day.